What's going on, everybody? It's Willoughby's and welcome back to the Lore Chronicles. In today's video, we are talking all about set championships. This time around, we have not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 set championship weeks to attend, and there are plenty of fun to go around. Or is there? We talk about things like maybe a limit of what set championships you can go to because some stores that used to do them aren't doing them anymore. Maybe some of the potential dying hype surrounding set championships and whether or not we think that's reasonable or not reasonable, and also how this meta is simply wide open and there's really a ton of decks that you could play that are super viable right now. All in all, we are super excited for Fabled and its reveals coming soon at the end of this set championship season in August, but hope you enjoy the discussion. Let's get into the video. So this time around, set champs, we don't just have a month full of set champs, we've got a month and 1 week full of set champs, fun filled weekends ahead. That's a whole lot of set champs, but something that you and I were talking about is that there actually might not be that many set champs because for some reason some stores that have previously run them traditionally, like every single time, are not running them this time. What's up with that?
Yeah, I don't get it, honestly. For one, set championships for a lot of stores is like their one time to advertise to brand new customers who wouldn't normally be in their store, right? And be like, hey, look at this fun place we have. It doesn't smell. Right? At least half the stores can say that. But but yeah, and we have seen time and time again players prioritize their local set championships over many other things. We've seen big stores in the world of Disney Lorcana try to run large events and have, I'm not going to say failed, but have not succeeded as well as they have previously because they tried doing it opposite of set championships.
Yeah, absolutely. I think set champs for a while was like this really big thing that the community really valued. You know, look at the hype around the first couple of set champs. Obviously getting something like a Rockstar Stitch and an Ursula was like super exciting when there was only 4 to be handed out, although we all agree that change to top 8 needed to happen. But I really think, like, honestly, for me, I think following kind of like Mirabelle and then slowly from there, it would kind of depend, right? Scar, you know, people were kind of feeling it, but it would kind of like depend on the card. But I think really ever since they got rid of that second place mat, we're kind of seeing this trend more and more that people aren't really valuing set champs in the same way that they used to, which is interesting. You know, when we come to a head at Reign of Jafar right before Fabled, right? The game is going to be totally different just after these set championships. I understand there's no second place map, but I think it's kind of like one of those things where, you know, we've talked about the game should not be slowing down at all, right? This is kind of the time to like really start playing some more and like you know, even though you can argue, some people like to say, well, you know, half my deck's going to be rotated out, so it doesn't even matter this set championship. I actually really disagree. I think now is a great time to start kind of getting familiar with archetypes that you think are going to still be sticking around post rotation, right? So, for example, you know, Ruby Sapphire, I had some friends of mine, I was like, oh, maybe I'll pick that up. You know, it seems to be doing well right now. They were like, honestly, I wouldn't even waste your time on it. It's probably not going to be super relevant post rotation. But like, you can take that argument and apply it to any deck, right? So this is the time to really be like exploring some new combos, getting comfortable with, like, you know, maybe if you've never played Amethyst really and you've never really taken the time on it, I think this is like a great time through set champs. You know, it's not super competitive, but it's a little bit more than casual play to kind of really start learning some of these lines so that way post rotation for Fabled you're ready to go. So I don't know, I think there's a lot of opportunity here that people just aren't really seeing.
Yeah, we talked about it before, how people need to, when they don't know what's beyond the horizon, that
That
they
was good.
need to be more, thank you, I appreciate it, that they need to be more well-rounded. And this is one of those events that it has some amount of stakes, but it's not the highest of stakes, right? It's not a ribeye, it's more a sirloin. And, you know, this is your time to be in a structured environment to get real-world playtesting. Because, you know, of course, when you're just playing with your friends, especially if you're like 25, 30 games deep on the night, you're getting to feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
And comfortability is kind of the enemy of, you know, enhancing your play skill at some point. You get to know the lines against your specific friend with their specific deck very well, right? But then if you get a curveball thrown in there, you know, it's a little dicey. So yeah, I think it's interesting. I think we're also seeing maybe the stores that never really cared about the game going away
Yeah.
because they don't want to make the move to the Ravensburger PlayHub. Like they were already using Melee. They thought when the game first came out, great, this is a good cash cow that I can just milk as much as I want to. I can milk that community as much as I want because it's not my core community. And maybe they're at the point where their set championships are not getting the attendance, as you mentioned, in the early seasons. And they're thinking, you know what? I've been doing this other game forever. Forget about this one. And I think that that is actually going to strengthen the communities. A couple of people mentioned to me, like over the weekend, how's it going to feel if like all of the super competitive game hoppers jump off of Disney Lorcana? And I looked at them, I said, it's going to feel great to me. Even if attendance drops slightly at one point, it's going to be the people who truly love the game and who are trying to really build up the community around them that are going to stay. And it's the same for these stores, right?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that's a good assessment. I think the stores that you, like you said, they were kind of doing it because it was lucrative, obviously in the beginning, and it was a really easy way to kind of take people's money and make as much as they could off of it. They're not really able to sell, right, their pack, right? You could see first chapter packs in some of these LGSs for insane prices, and everybody's got to do what they got to do. But like now, we can find, into the Inklands and what have you, and thrift stores and things like that for $60, right? So, Lorcana, I think, which is great for the consumer, has kind of really equaled out in terms of how much it's going to cost and stuff and how much there is to be made off of the game. But yeah, you are seeing a lot of people with that, stores especially being like, you know what? It's just not worth it anymore. I just don't want to do it. But similarly, right, game hopping, which we talked a lot about, of kind of like, what the future of Lorcana is going to look like, and these people that are, maybe thinking of leaving the game. I actually agree. I actually think Lorcana is like about to be, if not already, in like a really great spot. Now we at least have all of the information that we need thanks to the last Lorecast. We know that there's going to be, invites from these third party events. It's like, so yeah, like we've got. Yes.
You're all welcome out there. You're all. We Willoughby's can be humble. I can't. We're taking full credit for that. We are taking full credit for that. You're all welcome. And by the way, thank you everyone in the comment section of that last video. I was a little apprehensive about what the reception would be just because everyone is so passionate, which obviously we love. And the reception was through the roof, incredible. Somebody in person, a highly respected person in the community. I'm not one to divulge like private conversations you have with me. You can trust that anything you say to me will stay in private. So I'm not going to say who said it. They said we're the most trusted voice in the game, and that felt like the world. Like people know that I'm not shilling anything that I don't believe in. And we believe in this, so
yeah,
sorry to cut you off.
No, of course. Yeah, we speak from the heart. We try to mimic, really we try to reflect what the community actually feels, because we are the community. We actually play every single week and we love this game. So yes, thank you everyone for all of the support on last video especially. But yeah, I think what I was saying is just like, you're totally right. Like people are thinking of jumping ship, and I think if they do, obviously, it sucks, to see people go and for the community to shrink, I guess, for a short term. But I think in the long term, it's actually going to make the community so much better, because like you said, everybody that's going to be here is really going to want to play. And so if that's you, if you're somebody that's like, okay, all the lulls aside, we have all the exciting upcoming information. I'm ready to lock back in. As JDZ might say, it's time to lock in, okay? Set champs. This set champs can matter, and it should matter, especially ahead of Fabled. On one hand, this is your last chance, at least, outside of, we'll see how popular, Infinity Constructed ends up being. But like for the most part, this is going to be your last chance to kind of really use a lot of those cards regularly. And so like, why not go all out, play them at the set champs? But then also, another way to look at it is like, you're just getting ready, because you don't know what's going to stay, right? I think you said Gen Con is when we're going to start seeing some of those reveals in August.
Yep.
So until then, like use your cards. Let's see. And maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll pick an archetype that is actually going to have some reprints and that's going to stick around. But I definitely think there's a ton of value to be gained from set championships. And hopefully soon we'll be seeing that, second place Matt coming back. But really beyond anything, I think look at like the Fabled set championship, Maleficent Dragon, I think it is, that's going to be
Yeah.
people are gonna come out to play. So like the more reps that you can get in, it's still relevant even if cards get rotated out. You know, if people are taking a set champs off, you're gonna be ahead of the curve if you just stay the course and come participate in a set champs.
Absolutely. Speaking of Gen Con, I will be there. If anyone out there wants to meet me, I will be there. I will have Forbidden Mountains to sign or anything else you want to sign. And Ravensburger will also be there. Greg, say my name, bud.
Yes. So I think besides that, one thing I also wanted to hit on set champs, I will be going. I will be trying to make as many as I can. Really is just that like the meta is so, I guess, healthy. The meta is super healthy right now in that there's so many different decks being represented. I have no idea what to play.
Everyone watched our video.
That's
I don't know
true.
if you saw it, PBG. Like people, we had the old Sapphire Steel control
We
featured.
did. Yeah.
That's something that we talked about in the video. Like a lot of the decks that we talked about that we were like, hey, it could win a tournament. We saw Emerald Amber was one of the real highlights, right? I keep making this joke, but people forgot about Dre, and Dre was like, "You forgot about this deck, and it's not fun to play against, but I will crush with it."
Yeah.
Right? That was like our first seed Friday going into Saturday's Top Cut. So the meta is wide open. If
Yeah.
you are someone who has a favorite deck, if maybe you don't have the collection to explore other avenues, guess what? Your favorite deck could probably win set championships. This is probably the best set championships for people to just play their favorite cards.
Yeah, absolutely. I think something that comes up a lot when thinking about like what deck to pick is like just play what you're most comfortable with, just play what you've got like the most amount of reps on, and I think that this is the set championship to do it, because I truly think looking at something like a TFM video or a Lorcana Villain video where we go through all the winning lists, you're gonna see everything. Like I really think everything can make it. I want to see the Monstro OTK Donald Duck take a set championship. I think a lot of people forgot about that. I'd love to see it come in and surprise everybody. But that's something that's really been plaguing me because I've been a Blurple believer, as we all know. But so much Steel Song running around, it has not been feeling good. So even I was hit with the like, oh, maybe I should switch. But I really think it just depends on your local metas because Blurple can win. If you don't see a lot of Steel Song. So
Yeah, the only thing I would say is I think a set champs is a huge piglet field, piglet lady, kind of rough. So have a plan for that. No
yeah.
matter what deck you play, have a plan for that. And that's just a huge thing. Like you can play whatever deck you want as long as you have a plan for the things that you're planning on seeing. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where it just comes back into playtesting, which I've been trying. It's funny because I have a friend who's been recently getting into Lorcana, and so I make both decks. They're all my cards, and I've given him like Algoro Steel Song every single time, even traditional Steel Song. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play Blurple, see if I can beat him, and he beats me every time. So I'm like, wow, okay, but it's helping. It's helping because even somebody that's not super familiar with the card pool, somebody who doesn't know what I'm gonna play, is like able to navigate around my deck. I'm like, oh, okay, so I've got to cut this card, I've got to put this card in, right? It's all useful. What are you gonna be playing, you think, when you lock in on set champs?
I'm going to be the bad guy. I've been drinking the tea from villain. I'm going to be playing a Diablo deck, and
Oh,
not just a Diablo deck, the Diablo deck. Jordan made it look so much fun. Getting to commentate his games this weekend looked so much fun. I'm going to be playing Emerald, Amethyst, all Diablos all the time.
wow.
The deck just looks fun, and it's not nearly as mean as Emerald Steel.
Yeah.
So
It
yeah,
has. It definitely has some punishing. Emerald Amethyst definitely has some punishing move sets that it can do. Right, something like a wrong lever can really come in and mess up the competition. But I agree, it's definitely not as feel bad. Right, when somebody sees the Emerald card, they're like, oh boy, here we go. But then they see the Amethyst and they're like, okay, I have a chance. So it's definitely gonna help. So help some of the morale from across the table. Yeah, what is that? 16 Diablos in that deck.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think you could play 20. I think there's another one that
Oh, there's
people
a.
don't play. There's the
Okay.
2-1. Yeah, there's the 2-1 that was printed a long time ago. And just to circle back, it's interesting. I only have 2 set championships that I can play in.
Really?
Yeah, and it used to be I could go to one every weekend, but when I go on the PlayHub, there's only two within like 50 to 75 miles from me. Obviously I've got a wife and two kids, so set championships is not one of those things that I'm going to be doing an overnight adventure for. But you know, I just hope and I believe that it will take the people that do show up to those events and we can all realize who's really in the game for the love of the game, and we can grow our little community. Because instead of people, eight go to this store, eight go to this store, so on and so forth, well, everyone's gonna have to go to the same too.
Yeah.
So it's gonna make it. I think it's just gonna make us all better.
Yeah, absolutely. The only other thing I'll add with that, with the Ravensburger Playhub, at least from what I've seen locally, there's plenty of shops that, at least seemingly, if the track record stays or shows, are going to have set champs, but just haven't been like they're on PlayHub for like locals, but they haven't put their set championship on it yet. So I do think that also, maybe Ravensburger, if you're listening, some stores are having some trouble. I know one of my LGSs is struggling with the PlayHub, and they've just been doing it on Melee because they try, but they just can't get it to work, or like some of the information isn't getting backlogged, whatever it is. So I think another thing is I've had to manually go onto websites for stores and buy a ticket, because they don't have a Ravensburger Playhub yet, but they do intend to like host the event. So do some digging if you have to, because there's always a possibility that they are going to do it and it's just like not showing up. But it's a new tool, right? So technology, you're always going to have some store owners that are just like, I don't know, I think I'm signed up for that, and like you just kind of have to show up day of or call and hope. But obviously that means you have to have a scary phone call, which I get it. So
I know. In this day and age, no.
That's terrifying.
And if your store is one of the ones that are kind of getting out of the game, if you find out that they've sold their kit, you let me know.
Oh,
Okay,
we would love to
because
make a video.
we will deal with that.
Yeah, I think that's it on set championships. Personally, I'm very excited. Like I said, I'm gonna go to as many as I can, just to take it as practice ahead of Fabled. I personally will be at Southside Gaming for the Fabled release event, so I'm trying to get any practice in ahead of that. Even though cards are gonna rotate out, it's also like plenty of cards are gonna be coming back, and so the better that I can get, obviously it can only help me. So looking forward to things like that. Anything else you want to say on set championship?
No, get out there, support your local game store. Seriously. If we don't have a place that we can all congregate and play, I get it. Kitchen tables are a thing, but it's really intimidating to just like find a group on, say, social media and be like, hey, can I come to your house? Like, a good local game store is a very disarming and a very amazing experience for a lot of people. And a lot of us making these videos and watching these videos would not have the friends that we do without them. Me and you, Willoughbys, we would have never met without Busy and Lorcana, right? So, keep the community alive. And thanks for watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautifully said. We will see you out there on the play tables. Good luck on your set championships. Let us know what you're playing in the comments below. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It helps us out a ton. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. All right, we will see you guys in the next one.